Hello, and welcome back to the Guilty Parent Club series. I'm Dr. Jo Muller, and in this episode, we are continuing to explore the parent side of the 6P Key framework that's here to help you feel calmer and more confident as a parent by providing evidence-based strategies not only for your child, but for you too, all within a wrapper of imperfection and no pressure. In the last episode, we explored how meeting our own basic needs is a non-negotiable if we are serious about tackling our emotional regulation as parents, and getting our nervous systems into a state where we can actually think straight in order to be the parent that we want to be. We heard why we can think of this as playfulness for adults, and how my escapes framework can help you map out a range of possible tweakments that are not only realistic but are tailored to you. We also thought about why being able to predict our triggers is useful in planning ahead for tricky situations with the kids, and understanding where our buttons come from can help us to do that. In this episode, we're going to talk about the parent power key and how it fits into the Guilty Parent Club framework. So, this key is about discovering or rediscovering our sense of direction as a parent and, of course, as a person in our own right. We explored the impact of unmet needs on our regulation as parents in the parent playfulness key. And the parent power key is perhaps one level deeper. I know how easy it is for parenthood to leave us feeling a bit lost or adrift, especially when our old sense of self changes and the reality of family life perhaps doesn't quite match up to the fantasy that we had in our minds before we had children. This key also relates to the parent predictability key because if our buttons are related to our sense of identity, big changes in this area can really trigger us. But often it's not something that we think about tackling when we consider how to be more regulated. So for me, this key is a really important part of unlocking that calmer, more confident parenting, getting down to the root of what might be driving our reactivity as parents. The parent power key is designed to help you clarify what genuinely matters to you, so you can start shaping family life and your life in a way that feels more meaningful. Think of this key as your chance to press pause and reflect. I'll introduce you to my adapted version of the Japanese concept of Ikigai, that lovely idea of finding purpose and balance, and show you how we can sketch out your very own parent Ikigai. Over the course of this key, we will break things down step by step using practical exercises. So first we look at what makes you tick as a person. Then we focus on the values you want to bring into your parenting and family life. And after that, we think about what parts of parenting you enjoy and are genuinely good at, how we can build on those, and how there's no need to be all things to all people, even if external pressure makes us think that that's what we have to do. Finally, we consider what your child actually needs from you right now, which, let's face it, can be different for each child, even if it means bending the parenting rules that we have set for ourselves. We also think about how you and your partner or your co-parent can complete this exercise separately and then compare notes to see where you overlap and where you differ, and how this process can help you work even better as a team, both to help you find your identities and meet your needs individually, but also to have a more harmonious family life. Take a look at your workbook that's linked in the show notes to see the parent Ikigai diagram, and to use this to start mapping out what really matters to you in each of those 4 key areas. And what I really want you to take away from the parent power key is that finding your own compass can help you to feel more anchored and therefore less reactive as a parent. So let's now talk about the parent imperfection key. This one really is at the heart of the Guilty Parent Club, This key is all about helping you to get comfortable with the fact that perfection in parenting simply doesn't exist. Honestly, it just can't, and trying to chase it just leads us round in exhausting circles. The parent imperfection key helps you move beyond simply acknowledging your perceived mistakes with your kids and actually teaches you how to expect imperfection, adjust your standards to something more realistic, and bring a bit more self-compassion into your life, which is something that many, many parents find so difficult. We heard earlier in this series about how self-criticism, rather than making us better parents as we hope it might, can actually keep our threat mode going and feed our reactivity with our kids, making things worse. And you'll find a handy diagram of this in your workbook. If you've ever found yourself agonizing after a tricky day or comparing yourself to every seemingly perfect parent online, this key is here to help you break out of that guilt spiral. We start by looking at why our expectations are so sky high. Whether that's to do with the way we were brought up, our family, cultural influences, or just the endless stream of advice and glossy social media posts. We have a good dig into the why behind our critical voice, exploring how old beliefs can keep that going. But that's not all. We also talk about how to actually start doing things differently. We talk about why common tropes like just banish the mum guilt don't work, and why fighting our self-critical inner voice usually makes it come back even louder. And instead, we follow my special nature exercise, which walks you step by step through a process of key psychological skills to help us hear our critical voice, give it some space, and then create new, more compassionate habits. We also address the common fears and myths many people have about self-kindness that can get in the way, such as the worry that being gentler with ourselves is just letting ourselves off the hook. You'll find more information about this in the workbook that's linked in the show notes. Self-compassion is absolutely not wishy-washy. It's a difficult and courageous act that requires us to face up to our emotions, things that we find difficult, and forge new neural pathways in our brain. If we can start practicing being a little bit more accepting of ourselves, it helps us get off that hamster wheel of self-doubt, guilt, and reactivity. Not only will we feel less anxious and overwhelmed, but of course, we can start to model healthier coping to our kids as well. It's crucial both for our parenting and for our own mental health. And that's why the parent imperfection key really is the anchor in the middle of the Guilty Parent Club. Thank you for joining me in this episode to think about your values as a person and as a parent. Having this compass can help you to feel more solid in your identity as a parent, as well as getting on the same page as your partner or co-parent. Having a shared direction as a family and tailoring your parenting to your child's unique needs, as well as to your strengths and qualities, can really help the whole family to feel calmer. And then adjusting our expectations of ourselves, of our kids, and of parenting in general is so powerful in helping us to feel more grounded. Dialing up our inner coach and self-compassionate voice to help keep our thinking brain online, rather than our nervous systems being hijacked by our inner critic. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode, where we're going to hear about the final parent P key, the physical support key, and have a little recap of what the parent keys are all about before we move on to the child side of the parent P keys. I'll see you there. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. If this episode resonated for you, I would love you to join us in the Guilty Parent Club. As a member of the club, you'll gain access to exclusive private podcasts and workbooks providing deeper dives into these topics, taking you step by step through the 6P key framework, and they're packed with practical tools that you can apply straight away. For more details, head over to drjoethepsychologist.com/Guilty Parent Club. See you there.